Oh, is the 6 going to get up?
6 is trying real hard.
I didn't realize the 6 was a gray horse. He was dead in the stall.
Yeah, he didn't break. 9 is gonna beat out the. Oh no!
Oh, 2.
Wow!
Wow! Oh, I needed the 9. Oh my god! What a hang job!
Sheesh. How did that 9 not go by? Why are they zooming on the 7? Get that 7 out of there.
9 went full chandelier.
Yeah, that's been the kind of week it's been, or year, or lifetime.
Take a little pour. I actually went with a little bit of a theme for tonight's bottles. I decided to only bring out bottles that have been sent to me via mail. So I have a 3-pack of different bottles that have been shipped to me. So I have a lovely bottle of E.H. Taylor Small Batch that Mark shipped to me probably about 6 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah, it was in the spring, I would think. Yeah.
I have a little bit of Jack Daniels barrel proof reserve that Caleb was nice enough to send me a bottle of. I need another half-ounce pour of it because I may have fallen asleep with half an ounce in my glass and I didn't feel like chugging.
Josh, I'm a little concerned about what the third one is. Did Caleb also send you the third one?
No, Caleb did not send me this third one.
Oh, okay.
This is John J. Bowman. This was sent to me by super fan. If we did power rankings, I mean, this is the second bottle of whiskey he sent me, so he might be number 1 now. Mr. Polka Dot Taylor. He sent me this. Shout out to Polka Dot Taylor. Shout out to Keep Pounding, who's number 2. I'm sure Jared will show his face at some point. But we'll get going. We're on the wrong lead here. I am Josh. To our top right, we have Mark. Bottom right, BD horse player Brian. The bottom left, the best-looking man in all of horse racing, Caleb. We're gonna take a look at Saturday's Oaklawn card. We'll talk through some of the races. I'll have the Briz Nuts up and we can take a look at some of the races. But we're also going to be firing away a little bit here at Sam Houston. I know I started to pick 3 here in this last leg. I think we might have to start like 10 minutes earlier if Sam Houston's going to keep doing this to me. But I fired away at pick 3 here. And I had the 2 and the 6 in that first leg, so by the skin of its nose, I got past that leg there. But I thought that 6 was making that run at the end. I think we all liked that 6 there, didn't we?
Yeah, I like the 6. I had the 2, 6, and the 9, so that nose hurt me. I would have gotten a little better price if the 9 hadn't hung so bad.
Yeah, I needed the 9. I ended up tossing the 2 at the last minute when he went to even money. And
6-1 morning line, bet down to 2-1. And then opened the gate. It was like 6-5 or something. That horse got pummeled.
That's a tough one.
Well, I guess I'm ahead since I didn't play.
Yeah. No, I made 50 cents on the exacta.
Well, dinner on you.
We're fighting away there. I'll probably be looking at Turfway as well, but focus today is going to be taking a look at Oaklawn Saturday. We got a real good card coming up on Saturday at Oaklawn. I'm excited because at least to me this feels like the first like big Oaklawn card we've had all year, and like last year was nuts. Because I felt like last year, every Saturday was must play because of how crazy the fields were. Now, I don't know if that was just because of, COVID or if it was, I don't know if it was just because other tracks were closed or what was going on. But it feels like with the cancellations, those first couple weeks, like we've been a little bit, I've been a little bit less Oaklawn curious, I guess. But yeah, it looks like a real good card. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good card. A couple of horses that have been off since Breeders' Cup that are coming back here, who are major players. Whitmore specifically is the one that Chase and I are both massive fanboys of. And overall, it's one of those cards where a few horses that scratched out of other spots just shipped to Oaklawn to run here. Tax being one that kind of jumps out. Really good card. Late pick 4 is really interesting. I haven't kept the first race of the of the late 5, so I don't know how that looks, but there's also some others. The Azeri is just stupidly stacked as a race, and then you have the Rebel with points for the Derby. So ton of interesting stuff to look forward for here, and I think there's a lot of vulnerable favorites or horses that are going to go off at very short odds that I kind of can take a stand against. So we can get into it and go from there.
Cool. Let's see if I can get my screen up here. Bam. All right.
It feels wrong to be doing this without Chase.
I know. I was so excited for this week to have Chase on here. Hopefully he'll pop in the chat here at some point. But Chase has been battling some ailments for a long time now. So he just wasn't able to make it tonight. He will be on. I think he'll be live with Blackjack and Miss Summer Rae tomorrow, so that should be interesting. So we'll see how that goes. But shout out to Chase. I hope you feel better, man.
Hey, and am I the only person who doesn't really know who Summer Rae is?
Did you look her up?
No.
You should.
You should. I really should.
She was in the WWE.
Let's put it this way: she was not pulled into the show for her horse racing intelligence.
Was Chase?
I mean,
it wasn't for his looks.
But before they added the
Chase was really not there for his looks, so yes.
Before they added the girl there, he was by far the best looking one on that show. So I'm not quite sure what to think now.
He was the brain and the looks.
You can't have
He's comfortably in the middle.
You can't have two hens in the hen house. What's going to happen?
Well, shout out to Chase. Hope you feel better, and hopefully he pops in the chat here. But grade 2 Azeri. I was kind of, a little disappointed here because of the small field, but I think Mark, me and you were talking earlier. You got 5 horses in this race, and you got a lot of class. This is probably about as good of a race as we've seen this year, a competitive race at least, where I think if any of these 5 horses won, I wouldn't be like completely surprised. Maybe if the 4 won, I would be a little surprised, but I think we also kind of agreed that we are not going to put a single cent through this race on anybody other than a horse named Latruska.
Yeah, I think we both were in agreement there. Latruska's doing nothing but a win machine. She's an absolute monster. She's 12-16 lifetime. She should be controlling pace in this race. Obviously that's always a little scary with Joelle up on her, but she loves this distance. She's perfect at it. Quite honestly, and it's one of those sort of game inside the game sort of things. She's one of the 5-year-olds in this field, and there's a lot of these that are newly turned 4-year-olds coming off from quite long layoffs. A lot of them since September, October. I think that She Shared the Devil, who's probably going to be second choice in here, is coming off from since the 4th of October, where she kind of flopped in the Spinster to some degree. She should have, I think on paper should have won that race, and they put her away for a while. I think Latruska wins this race more than half the time. Unless Oaklawn is playing very wonky, she should be able to control the pace. And I just don't really see how anyone in this field beats her. I think if you can get 3-1, the actual morning line on this race, you back the truck up and you just toss money at the window. I think she really kind of towers over this field. The other horse that I thought was a little interesting is the one coming off the newly turned 4-year-old. She Shares the Devil. She is a little bit interesting in this spot. If you think that the Kentucky Oaks was a massive top 4, you expect a regression. It's Cox. He's hitting at almost 30%. This is the kind of horse, and he's a guy that is good off the long layoff. So maybe this one doesn't need a race. Maybe this one's primed and ready to go. But I think for me, Latruska ends up being an A. She Shares the Devil ends up being a B, and I don't really want anybody else because if you're playing this horizontally, you got to sort of be skinny in this type of a race.
Caleb, what did you think?
Yeah, I can't really disagree with anything you already said. Latruska looks like the horse to beat. I'm always kind of anxious to back a horse that's really that one-dimensional just because there are probably 3 other horses in here that could press the pace, and give Latruska some company up front. So it always kind of makes me nervous. I don't think she'll be 3-1, like Mark said. She might be 6-5, 7-5. I don't know. She's going to be less than 2-1 for sure. She's a great horse, like nothing to really knock about her. I do like She Dares the Devil. That's probably the only kind of comment I would make in this race. I do think that she probably just bounced in the Spinster after that monster race in the Oaks. They laid her up for a while, so she should be fresh here. Clearly, they've been pointing toward this race for a while. She's got a good record over Oaklawn. So that's the one horse I'd be most interested in. And if I'm really looking for a price, I don't know if you could really call her a price because these Oaks winners and Derby winners and Breeders' Cup winners always tend to get overbet for the rest of their career. But she's the one that I would be most interested in that might be able to turn the tables on Latruska. No one else really interests me.
Brian, I know you said this was easy.
Yeah, you single She Dares the Devil and move on. Brad Cox on the layoff, on the cutback at Oaklawn Park. We are way overthinking this race.
I'm not familiar with the trainer. Does he have another name?
Chase isn't here. I'm not trying to butcher that one. It might be Lukewarm Cox, something like that. I'm not really sure.
Room temperature Cox.
John Massey in the chat is saying that he might throw the 2 in just in case 3 speed gets Rosario'd.
Fuck, I didn't see Rosario was up. That's a good point.
Yeah, Rosario is on Latruska, so I still think Rosario. Look at all right. I know we're going way back on this one. I still think Rosario got a bad rap from Hidden Scroll. I thought sending Hidden Scroll like that, I think was the only way that horse is going to win on dirt. So I think that he got a bad rap for that, but
it's not really one time that he's done this. Rosario is sort of notorious for putting some very suspect mounts or suspect rides on some speed horses. It's happened a few times. And I think also, I do like motion to motion in this spot, but can't you say the same thing about Santana? I mean, Chase and I have a running joke about with Santana, which is no thinky, just sendy. And he's going to have to stalk and be a little bit smart here and not get caught up in a pace duel and sort of stalk and pounce. And yeah, he can do that. The front end has to come off this race. There has to be a pace duel. And he probably needs to be really well timed. And he's just not the jockey I want to be doing that move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this melts. I mean, I don't even know if this is going to be able to melt. I think it's going to be, it's going to be Latruska on the lead, and I think She Dares the Devil is going to sit just off, and it's just going to be who's going to outkick who's going to outkick who. But I'm gonna get just single Latruska if I play anything horizontally here and just kind of move on.
Hey, let me be devil's advocate here. And, Joel's only ridden for Gutierrez one time. Joel's going to do what Joel wants to do here. I mean, if he doesn't want to take the lead, he's not going to. I don't think the instructions matter here. It's not like he's got a known reputation with this trainer. It's not some long partnership they have. So whatever he gets a feeling on, he's going to do. So I think he's proven that before, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does it again. To single him saying he's going to send for sure. The PPs say that, yes. But does Joel say that?
To be fair, the one time he did ride, he did full send the horse.
He did full sender, so.
But your point stands. I mean, it's hard to predict what he's going to do.
That race was a little different. I mean, you had Royal Flag and, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, not to overtalk a 5-horse race because we do love to do that, but how do you see Bri? How do you see She Shares the Devil? How do you see the pace setup or the scenario where she can win this? Is it just simply that she massively improved for the Kentucky Oaks and then bounced huge in the Spinster, and she's going to fire back to that Kentucky Oaks form. Because I mean, I agree with you. If she does, she's a major player here. But newly turned 4-year-old, how do you see it setting up where she can win this?
Well, I like the fact that she was at the fairgrounds the entire time. When Oaklawn was shut down, she was at fairgrounds. She gets a slight cutback here off the layoff. And Brad Cox has proven, he's winning 23% off 90-day layoffs. So, the hot connections at Oaklawn are Cox and Giroux coming with a horse that looks to be prime. I mean, Josh had mentioned before we came on, we talked about form. Obviously, this horse is coming on a 6-month layoff, but I do believe the Oaks was a huge effort at 1 1/8 miles. I think this horse may want the shorter, we're only talking 16th of a mile, right? So is it a huge difference? Probably not. But if you look at her running lines, she's been able to clear and stay gone, except for the last, 2 races. At the end, she started getting caught up on a little bit. At least that's my thought. I think it's more.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yeah, and just to answer Jared Bush's question in chat about Inventante, the one. The only time she's ever won, she's been on the lead. I don't see any way she gets on the lead here. There's 3 horses. They're all faster than her, just with more natural speed. I don't necessarily think she can pass horses. She's never shown that she can. So I just don't see any way that she wins this.
I mean, she has 2 wins coming from off the pace. So, I mean, I don't particularly love the horse, but to Jared's point, I don't want a dead closer here. And if she nails the devil or does go with Latruska or tries to anyway, she could be that improving 3 to 4-year-old kind of horse, likes the distance, that might get the right setup. I mean, I don't love the horse, but I wouldn't talk anybody off of her.
While you guys were talking about that, I did take a quick peek at Turfway, and I know Jared said he's had a rough day today. He's asking if anyone's got any winners. I went ahead and I put a small bet on this 9 here at Turfway. I think you're getting the right price. Why are you saying damn it? What happened?
Because that's where I was on.
Oh, at Turfway?
Yeah, Dawn West.
Yeah.
They're off already, huh?
Yeah.
So y'all both got the 9?
That was the horse. I thought I had a couple more minutes there. My screen was a little delayed. Yeah. Hopefully you get it, Josh.
Yeah, I got a little bit of money on the 9 here, and I got an exacta with the 7.
Yeah, I was looking to play 2, 6, and 9 in a box there.
Is the 9 Corrales?
No, it's Santiago Gonzalez. It's the dollar store Corrales. So and Jared did ask a question, which is kind of I guess where I was kind of going earlier. He said if we have a speed duel, right? Does the 1 figure into that if there is a speed duel?
I think the 1 probably sits to be the beneficiary if there's a speed duel between anybody. In my opinion, I think if you're the 1, the instructions on Saturday, you're telling Brian Hernandez to sit behind Latruska and She Dares the Devil and hope they tire themselves out, and you're the benefactor there. I don't want to say that the 1's probably running for minor rewards, but I think you come in, you say let those 2 maybe classier horses outduel each other and hope for the best. But if you believe there's going to be a speed duel, maybe you play a pick 3, and this is a small field. You take, 1, 2, 4 if you think there's going to be a speed duel and you can get a price home.
If you think there needs to be a price to, there's a chance of a breakdown or this melts. I think I want the other Cox. I think I want the 4 over the 1. I mean, if you go with the 1, I'm not going to, again, wouldn't talk somebody off the horse. I think it's a 5-horse field where everybody could win. But, to Jared's other point, he had a comment, something to the effect of, how do you make money in a race like this? And I think to make money on a race like this, you either have to be, very aggressively single. You have to pick that horse out. You have to say, hey, I'm going to single here. I'm going to single a double, or I'm going to single this horse on top of an exacta. Or you put your hands in your pockets and you watch the race just for the sake of watching a race, and you try to make money some other place. And I think as horse players, we often try to invent ways of making money on races where there's not a lot of money to be made. And I just think that's the race where there's not a lot of money to be made. So you put your hands in your pockets, you watch the race. It should be a real barn burner. It should be an awesome race, and you move on.
We sit here and we talk about 5 races or, whatever we're talking about. On Saturday Oaklawn, I might play 3 races. If I don't play a pick 5, I might play 3 races. And in doing so, you might see me play a combination of a double. Maybe I'll find the price for an exacta I like is right for picking. But I could talk about all the races on the card, and I will probably play less than the other 3 above me right now.
I probably will play that little Bri. Again, I may the late pick 5 is interesting. I haven't capped the first race in it. Late pick 4, I'll probably definitely play, but beyond that, I might not play anything else. I think, we oftentimes will sit around here on this show and talk through horses and spend a lot of time analyzing races that we might just not play. And I think that's, it's oftentimes hard. We want to put out there our opinions and, try to put people on winners, but oftentimes we might also be in the fact of doing that. You might come out and go, geez, that's, maybe we're overplaying or we're overselling our opinions, where we're just going, this is something where my opinion probably doesn't make me any money here.
Yeah, I really think at least just looking at the card, I'm very interested in that late pick 4. I was talking to Mark and Caleb, and I think Brian, you might have been on too. I think it's a slam. I think I could be very narrow in that and play a 2x, 3x, 4x, and get away with playing less than $30 or $40, which is if I put in a horizontal ticket, like a big ticket to me, like price wise, is usually $30 or $40, right? I tend to play $12 to $24 tickets normally, so that's why I tend to be in that pick 3 daily double range and not so much playing the longer pick 5s and pick 6s and all that other stuff. But with this pick 4, I really think that I'll be able to, slam it. But what the payout's going to be, I don't know, because it does look a little bit chalky. And I think John Massey's actually talking about it too. Seldom are stakes races the focal point for bettors, and I agree. John Massey, I mean, he's always preaching, hey, like the stakes races end up being chalky. Every once in a while you'll get a good price, and that's if you see a good price, that's why you should play it, because in stakes races, the stakes races just tend to be more formful, I think. But I don't know. It can get the last race in the sequence is a little interesting. I haven't looked at the first race in the pick 5.
Soul Street single. Move on. I think if you make a couple tough decisions in that pick 4, you can get a real slammable ticket. So that's the way I'm gonna kind of approach it. But we got 3 minutes here till Sam Houston race 9. I still have a live pick 3 here to the 237. I don't know if there's really anything else I'm gonna be playing here. Caleb, Mark, you guys got anything? Brian?
I'm live with the same horses in the pick 3, so I boxed them up in an exacta. Mainly because the 3 and the 7 are stupid prices.
Yeah, I played a cheap double and I keyed the 3 here. It looks like only the 3 and the 7 are the only 2 horses that have a shot to make the lead, and I think the 3 gets it in a cheap race. I kind of want a horse that might be on the front. I mean, it's 20 to 1. I don't really trust the 5, so yeah, I keep the 3.
Also happens to have an 0 for 46 trainer, but what's that mean? He's due, right?
Nobody beats this guy 47 times in a row.
Didn't you like the 8 here? The 8's at 3 to 1 right now from a 7 to 5 morning line.
Did I like the 8?
Yeah, I thought you liked the 8 here, didn't you?
Let me check. I only used the 3 because I missed my pick 3. I had 2, 3, 7.
I was actually very much against the 8. Low percentage jock, low percentage trainer, low percentage of the 2 of them together. And the horse appears to be tailing off from form. Last few have not been that great. And horse seems like he's going to be way off the pace. I don't understand the taking money there. It just seems like the pace setup's all wrong.
Well, as usual, the horse didn't take money. He floated up from his morning line, and he was only 2 lengths off the pace in his last 2. I think this horse makes a ton of sense. I just didn't like him at 7 to 5. You give me 3 to 1, or he's down to 2 to 1 now, I'd use him. I wouldn't leave him off. I'm not that interested in the 5, who is probably over bet on connections and 2 wins, but hasn't actually run that fast in getting those wins. So I'd be very against the 5 and interested in probably the 3. I had 2, 3, 7, but I'd use the 8.
I do have to point out that a friend of the site, Disco Partner, said, "Hi, Caleb, you need a haircut."
I do. I said that as soon as I got on.
It was kind of funny because I'm laughing. Although Mr. Partner, our friend Papo was a little upset last night because he said the only reason he was streaming last night was for you, and you were nowhere to be found. I saw Garth. I didn't see you though. So
for Capone?
Yeah. So I think
he had the Turfway After Dark.
Yeah, I know. He might need to send a apology to Mr. Papo over there. Mark does need a tan. I agree with him though.
I do need a tan. I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that that Jared was looking for a play here. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think if you're going to try and take a price, you would probably take the 3 or the 7. I thought the 2 was very live here, and the 2 was 5-1.
Yep, that's where I landed.
So, I mean, maybe you could go 3 wide here in a double with the 2, the 3, and the 7. I really like the 5 in the next leg, in leg 10. What was the horse? Triple Creek. I really like Triple Creek in this next one. I also tossed in the 12 in my pick 3. But I think if I were to try and slam something, I would try and slam something to the 5 next race. Go with the 2, the 3, and the 7 here. Or if you want to go more spread, look at the payouts. Maybe do Dutch it a little bit and use the 12 kind of as a B for like half as much as you use the 5. But that's how I would play it if you're looking to play something here at Sammy H. But let's jump back here. So that we got a minute to post. So I mean, like this 7th race, the Essex, I didn't really. It does it really even connect to anything that horizontally really?
No, not really. Pick 5 starts in the next. It really doesn't. It's just sort of it's one of those races that you're going to watch a bunch of these horses, and this is a stepping stone race to something further on down the line, and therefore it does have some interest. I
mean, I was very interested in Tax here. Tax with Lasix. I thought. I think he makes a ton of sense here. I think second choice for me would probably be Night Ops. I think Night Ops just loves Oaklawn. So those would probably be the 2 horses I kind of key around here. Silver State at 2-1. I mean, I don't know if that's just the Asmussen, right? Silver State isn't Asmussen, right? I can never remember because he's got all these horses named Silver something, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's Asmussen.
Silver Prospectors and then also Asmussen.
Yeah, all the silver horses are Asmussen.
Yeah, so yeah, but I think Tax here. I mean, Tax here makes a ton of sense getting Lasix again. So, what do you think, Brian?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say that, I thought the morning lines in this race were absolutely horrible. You have Silver State at 2-1. You have Night Ops at 3-1. Silver State was life and limb in this last race to beat Hunkaburn and Love. And, Chase and I both have a thing for Hunkaburn and Love. Really good, sort of Oaklawn-y horse. But Hunkaburn Love is not a, classy horse. He's not a G3 kind of caliber horse. And this is a $500,000 black type. So this is really a G3 or even a G2 at some tracks. This is actually there's a pretty good purse here. And I just thought, Silver State just barely got it done over Hunko by a nose last out. And Night Ops kind of was a flat looking third. He just wasn't nearly as good as the top 2. I almost think you have to take a stand against both of those horses in this race. I agree with Josh. I think Tax makes a lot of sense. And the other horse I thought in here that made quite a bit of sense was Harper's First Ride. First time in the Dio barn, which is tends to be kind of a big move up angle. So those are the 2 that I was really interested in. And, and I think you can also make somewhat of a case for Radar Superstar, who's the horse that I always have a soft spot for some reason that I can't quite explain.
Mark, apologize to Brian.
What, for cutting off?
I said, what do you think, Brian? And then you jumped in.
And then he said, go ahead.
I know. I thought you had something to add of value.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
We're off at Sam Houston for the record.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Sam Houston right now real quick. And
my 3 lone speed horse is 4th, 5th.
No, your 7's kind of there.
Yeah, that's why I always hope for my lone speed horses to be kind of there.
I don't like the spot the 2 landed in. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, this 8 looks like he's going to run away and hide.
Oh yeah, 2's going to the whip already, and
2's out of horse.
Oh,
yeah. Maybe 8 might have blown his load a little early because the 7.
He's flattening out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, this will be huge.
Any
Oh,
holds?
yeah.
Don't even think about it inside horse. Hi, dude. A camera angle. Oh, all right. Well, there's the 7.
There you go.
There's a little
There's
price.
the
That's
7.
nice.
There we go.
Looked like
So
3 or
we're-
7 get the lead. I went to the wrong one, but nice pick 3, guys.
I think I even played it for $2, didn't I?
You did.
I did because I was like, "Fuck it, I'll play it for $2." So yeah, okay.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
What are you closing
Well,
it out to? What do you need next
The
race?
5 and the 12. I got the 5 and the 12 next race.
Oh,
I have 3, 5, 6 in the next.
Mark and I diverged a little bit. I was thinking about singling the 5, but the 12 kind of caught my eye a little bit, so I included. But I didn't feel like. Oh, Mr. Jared Bush decided to do 7 all for a double, so he's alive to everything next race. So we'll be praying for the 5 or 12, even though those aren't good prices for you, but they're good for us. But hopefully, one of us is going to make money here.
do we have a doppelganger or something? Because Jared and Caleb are always on the same 2 horses.
It is true.
What's going on here?
That's we're living in parallel dimensions, Brian.
You got a fan club or something here?
He picked the right one. I picked the 3,
OnlyFans.
and I went to the 7.
OnlyFans.
Gotcha.
So Brian, before we were so really interrupted by Mark, what do you think here?
I forgot. No. This is the kind of race that I make a strong argument for Rated R Superstar, and then he finishes 4th by 4 lengths. This kind of feels like the kind of race where somebody's going to fade and somebody's going to press, and it's going to be disappointed, and all the money's going to go to tax because people know tax, and Silver State's going to take all the money, and it just, it's one of those things where I want to like Rated R Superstar more than I should. The morning line is 12-1. He's probably more like a 25-1 horse in this field, and I think if I get 20-1 on Rated R Superstar, I'm probably gonna do something stupid. Just I have that feeling. When you look at a race and you feel like something stupid is going to happen, this is the race before the premier races in the card, and how many times we've seen a pick 6 or some big price start a sequence off on a big day. So that's kind of my crazy, dumbass thought.
Where did Rated R Superstar make all this money? Or is it just the fact that he's 8 and has just kind of been hanging around?
He's raced almost 50 times. This will be his 50th race.
I mean, because he's made $900,000. So
He's won this race in the past.
Right.
Caleb, you see this any different here?
No, I have nothing interesting to add. I see it the exact same way you do. Tax is the likeliest winner. I'd probably want a little bit of night ops and Silver State underneath. They're not underneath, but as maybe on a backup ticket. Nobody else in here really interests me. So it's pretty straightforward. I'll have most of the money going through tax if I play this race, which is kind of in a weird spot. So I'm not sure that I would. But yeah, I like tax.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I included this race because I thought Chase was going to be with us tonight. And, this is just like the who's who of like listed stakes races at Oaklawn with Rated R Superstar and all the ass man having some random silver horse and all this other stuff. So I thought Chase would get a kick out of talking about some of these Oaklawn horses. But we'll kind of move forward. What were you going to say, Brian?
I don't know if you look, but your will pay to the 12 is almost $700.
Oh, I have not looked. Let's see.
I have to imagine Jared wants the 4 here since he did it all, but maybe you guys can compromise and end up in the 12.
Can somebody explain to me how the 3 is that short on the pick 3 will pays? Damn.
Well, the pick 3 first flash is 7-2 on a 10-1 morning line.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at the double. The double's paying the double's paying 284. The pick 3's paying 378.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the 5 pays 150 for $2. That's not bad actually.
These pick 3s are excellent. I mean, you cannot sleep on Sam Houston pick 3s with the low takeout and the dollar base bet. They always pay just stupid good.
All right. So yeah, moving on kind of towards these last races here at Oaklawn. Let me see. We still got a couple minutes till Turfway, so we could probably get through this one. The Temperance Hill, and Caleb, I have to mention when you jumped on the call, right? And Mark and I were talking. The first thing that you did was start laughing and said tenfold. So, and also I do have to call this out. If tax hater Caleb is picking tax, he's a stone cold lock. So shout out to Keep Pounding there, keeping.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Tax and the LASIX is a different animal, and that field sucks shit.
Yeah, tenfold. I mean, Mark and I were trying to think what the last race he won is. I thought it was the Pimlico Special from like 2 years ago, but my PPs don't go that far back, so I don't know. But yeah, this is definitely a group of horses. I mean, granted, it is a like a listed or black type or whatever this is, but I see a lot of money burner horses in here between Plainsman and Tenfold. Treasure Trove is not the horse I was thinking of, but I ended up on another money burner horse that Caleb I know is a huge fan of this horse. I thought this was Caleb's favorite horse period for a time, but apparently I was wrong. But I actually landed on Campaign in this race. I just think that this is the right distance for this horse. I mean, this horse seems to have is 2-1-0 4 times over this distance. So I just think that this horse is going to make the most sense here. I honestly have really nothing else to add besides the fact that this horse has won at this distance twice already out of 4 times. The horse has got a little bit of back class. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to kind of stick with Campaign. I'm not impressed by any of the other horses in this field. I have a hard time making a case for any other horse in this field but Campaign. So it's kind of a process of elimination that I ended up on Campaign here. And I think I'm going to end up singling Campaign. I'm just going to take a stand with Campaign here.
Hey Josh, I did look. It was the Pimlico Special was his last win.
Yeah.
In May of 2019 May of 2019.
Back when life was life.
Back in the day.
So Caleb, now that I've just waxed poetic about Campaign, your favorite horse, what are you thinking here?
Dude, can't use Campaign. Can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, I needed that horse for fucking all the marbles at what was it? Breeders' Cup undercard, I think, back in November at Santa Anita, and he was like 3-5, and he just pulls up like 2 furlongs into the race. Yeah, that marathon race, and I just don't think he's been the same horse ever since, and I don't think he was much of a horse to begin with. But yeah, taking a stone cold, I don't even know if pace matters in a 1.5-mile race, but a stone cold closer that hasn't won since July of 2019. I mean, I don't know what's the price on him. I don't have morning lines.
7-2 right now.
7-2. I mean, he probably won't be your favorite, I guess.
Oh, all of a sudden, I saw you perk up a little bit. You're like, oh.
Well, I'm still not going to bet him, but I'm not going to give you as much shit for betting him at 7-2. I hate everybody in here. I hate this race. I hate every horse in here. I ended up on the 9, Lone Rock, only because at least this horse knows how to win. He's coming off of 3 consecutive wins. A little bit cheaper than what he faces here, but he did have some back class at one point. So he's been in and out of a lot of barns. I like the fact that Diodoro reclaims this horse after he got claimed off him for 40,000 at Keeneland. And he's never tried to go this far, but if you look at the pedigree, I mean, Majestic Warrior with AP Indy on top and then Hard Spun underneath, there's a lot of stamina in that pedigree. So the way he finishes off his races suggests that he should be able to get, a mile and an eighth, a mile and a quarter. It remains to be seen how he'll handle a mile and a half, but that's a question you got to answer for almost every horse in this field. So he has the ability to be forwardly placed here. I think probably the 5 or the 4 get the lead, so I think he sits just off. And he's the horse that, out of all the kind of bums and has-beens in this field, he's kind of the cheap horse that at least is coming into this race with recency and in form. So I'm going to take the 9 here and kind of see what happens.
Carlos L had run into Panama before, and you guys know how much I love South American horses, especially going a mile and a half.
Could you at least find a South American horse that has pedigree to go a mile and a half?
Good call. Sources
Yeah,
pedigree for it.
I'd say I have nothing creative to say here. Caleb basically said exactly what I was going to say. We're on the same exact horse. Because when you and I guess I'll said I have nothing to say and I'll say some more. When I look at these marathon type races, you have to start at pedigree, and there's really only three horses in the race that have pedigree to get this distance. Tenfold, who I just can't use because the horse hates winning. Campaign, who I have the same qualms that Caleb does, and then Lone Rock. And so I think Lone Rock of those 3 is the one that at least has won some races. At least seems to like going to the winner's circle. Dio did claim this one back and makes a ton of sense. And the only other horse that is a little bit interesting that we really haven't talked about is You Are to Blame. And I really don't know what to do with this horse. Has done well at this distance, even though it has a pedigree that doesn't really scream marathon. But the 7-year-old hasn't won in quite some time. I think this one's best running days are behind, but again, this isn't a group of monsters. 3-1, no way in hell, but I bet you'll get a little bit better than that. Maybe 5-1 sort of range, which becomes a little bit interesting.
Brian, you got anything to add to this race?
Yes. Nobody's mentioned Treasure Trove, the 6. Ran 2 miles on turf, at Gulfstream Park. Pedigree suggests might like this 12 furlong race. Horse has been all over the place. Kind of hard to see, but at that huge morning line, why not take a swing? This race is out there. Mark had mentioned on these marathons, you never know what to expect, and these horses, you've got the 2, the 10, the 1, and the 7 are the only ones that have ever ran this distance before. So, let's try something different. I think the 5 and the 6 are interesting at what is a big morning line. And, on a race like this, maybe I take a swing, look for a double in and out of this race, and try and get a big price home in a ugly, ugly race.
I mean, like kind of just looking at Briz's breeding figures, which are probably suspect at best. I mean, Campaign does make a ton of sense here, but this 3 Cold Truth. Scroll back up here. Oh, never mind. It's got. Wait, is Walter the good one or the bad one, Caleb? Is that the right Dela Cruz?
Fernando's the bad one. Walter's the okay one.
Walter's the okay one.
I don't care what you say right now. John Massey agreed with me, so I get a point today.
Yeah, but John Massey is also claiming off the cutback. So he's betting second off the cutback, and the 2 mile race, the horse was beat by 21 lengths. So you guys do whatever you want.
Hey, you didn't see part 2, which said he tried to close up a dead rail.
Yeah, don't talk about horrible angles, Mark. I've seen your text before. This horse ran at Saratoga one time, but only ran in a 32-mile-an-hour wind, and it had a come on. Give him some credit here.
This 3 looks a little interesting on pedigree, but I don't know. I still think Campaign wins this pretty easily, but we'll see if I see anywhere even close to this. I think he's going to end up being the favorite in this race again. I think he was favored in this race last year, so I think it's just going to be it's going to be a repeat. We got a minute till Turfway race 7. You guys got anything here? I know Mark. I don't think he has really been looking at Turfway. You looking at anything at Brian?
I did, and I forgot what I wrote down. Hold on. I got to pull up my Word document there. No, this is the one. I thought the 7 was sitting pretty, obviously very short. I think this 8 is a pretty nice play, but I don't want to be anywhere near. Well, never mind. I'm just going to shut up. I don't want to be anywhere near the front, And
I was gonna say I've heard people have not been happy with Julie Burke's rides the past couple of weeks. I thought that's where you're going with that, but
I was gonna leave that one alone. I think the 4 at 4 to 5 is crazy. I mean, if you're wanting action here, maybe you make something with the 7 happen. I don't know why you would.
The horse I liked in this race scratched, which was the 5. I just don't know if there's really that much. I don't think there's that much speed in this race. Is there any speed in this race? The 7? Is the 7 the speed? I think so, right?
Well, HTR says that the 8 might be the speed. I don't know if I buy that either, though. Maybe something like a 7, 8 with 3 double here. I mean, the probables are juicy enough to get me to bite. And you're talking $42 and 117 right now on the back end, so.
All right, looks like they're going. Let's see who gets the lead here. I had no idea who was going to get the lead in this race. Looks like the 2 got the lead. The 2 got the lead. Who the heck is the 2? I guess it's the lone E horse technically, but the horse didn't look fast enough to get the lead. So
see, and that's what threw me for a loop because HTR was calling the 8 a run style of sustain, but had the fastest first fraction. So that's what I didn't understand.
Well, yeah, it looks like the 8's gonna. I don't know if the 8's making the middle move or doesn't know what they want to do, but
2. I still can't do it for that surface. That surface looks so weird to me. It's like not even the right color.
Well, it's coming to Gulfstream 2023.
I heard that.
Well, like Woodbine and like Golden Gate. Well, Golden Gate's Topeta. It's like gray, but for some reason here it's just like
sand,
it's like light brown. Yeah, is this too loose?
No.
Let's use out a horse. Yeah. Well, I don't even know why you're whipping the horse. Your horse ain't going anywhere. Let's see. 7 looks okay. 8's making a move.
8's done.
Papa would be freaking out if the 2 go into the rail here. I could hear him. I can hear him right now.
Oh.
Shit. He's getting brave up there.
Really?
Does he stay brave?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
He was loose.
All right. I see a bunch of people saying they like 2. I saw, there's a bit of delay. So, but both Disco and Mr. Keep Pounding were on the 2. Yeah, there's a big old bang. Let's do. Yeah, wow. I didn't think the 2 was going to be that fast early. I'm glad I didn't bet that 7. That would have been real mad. But yeah, I guess if you go back to his like Woodbine races, but the last 2 times out at Turfway did not show any speed. So interesting. Never menaced, never factored, and comes back and wins. I guess the drop in class helped, Caleb.
I didn't even look at the race. What are you calling me out for?
Because you guys always give me shit about the class doesn't matter thing, but not today it seems.
Price drop, man.
All right, Hot Springs. Mark, I'll let you go ahead. I'm scrolling down to Whitmore.
Who's gonna go first, no matter who you called anyway?
Yeah, I'll scroll to Whitmore. I'll let you wax poetic.
I wax poetically about Whitmore. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you need to say about Whitmore. He loves going to the winner's circle. He absolutely loves Hot Springs. If he wins this race, this will be the 5th time in a row that he has won this race. He's an absolute monster, and he's a must-use A-type horse here. If you get 8 to 5, that's quite a bit of value, I would assume, in this race. My only concerns with Whitmore in here are the fact that he's been off since the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Does he need one? He's a horse that historically has not needed one off the layoff. He's been pretty sharp coming off it. So I think he's if you need a single in this sequence, to me, he's the most singleable horse. The only thing I do worry about is, and Chase and I've talked about this quite a bit. Whitmore's a bigger horse. He's a horse that needs a little bit of wind up to get going. And, he needs a bit of a pace setup. He needs some pace in front of him to run into. I don't know if he necessarily gets that in here. Pace is a little murky on paper. Caleb can probably speak to the pace setup better than I can. But I don't know if Whitmore can win this without a little bit of pace to run into it. I don't know if he gets enough of it here. So, I don't know if he becomes my lone A or if I use a little bit of CZ Rocket as well. I read CZ Rocket's 0-4 across the track, but he's a fairly classy horse. Was second in that Breeders' Cup Sprint, where he was probably also compromised a bit by the pace setup, and before that had won 5 in a row. So I expect him to be kind of cranked and ready to go here. But it's Whitmore. I have a hard time going too much deeper into this race than to just say I think Whitmore's the best horse in the race, and it'll be a pretty awesome one to watch.
Caleb?
Yeah, I generally agree with what Mark said here. I think Whitmore's your likeliest winner, and the horse that I'm probably equally interested in is CZ Rocket, who Mark didn't really mention. This horse historically hasn't liked Oaklawn, but he also hasn't ran at Oaklawn since going into the Peter Miller barn, which he's clearly become a totally different horse. I just think that CZ Rocket can be a little more tactical than Whitmore, and there isn't a ton of speed in here. I guess that you can argue that Mr. Jägermeister, the 3, might be a bit of a rabbit for his stable buddy Whitmore. I'm sorry, not him, the 5, Fire Crow, is going to go with Mr. Jägermeister to kind of act as a rabbit. But I'm not sure that I know that the pace really totally falls apart. So I do like CZ Rocket here. I also like Whitmore. I mean, he's won this race 4 times in a row. You can't be against Whitmore from a fan perspective or even from a betting perspective, really. But at some point, it's fair to question when he might lose a step. But in the right spots, he can clearly still get the job done. So I like both CZ Rocket and Whitmore, and I probably won't use anybody else unless the track comes up like crazy speed friendly or something like that.
Brian, what are you thinking here?
Let me introduce you both to my friend Joel Rosario. He's the breaker of dreams. He ruins everything from pick 4s to pick 5s. He's on the 2 Flagstaff. That's all I'm going to say. No, I'm kidding. I do want Whitmore to win, but this feels like the spot where the whole track is going to be rooting for Whitmore. And this is the kind of race Joel just blows up and everybody gets mad at Joel for being Joel. I think this is the kind of race that Flagstaff can win, where might not have to sit like they did 2 back, try to go wire to wire kind of thing at Santa Anita. But this seems like the kind of race where Flagstaff can be patient and won't be as far back and won't need as much pace as Whitmore and might get first jump and just be gone. And, that's the Joel timing issue. So be interesting to see. I think the value will be there just because Whitmore is the fan favorite. I would like to see Whitmore win, but I will not have any money on Whitmore in a single race bet.
Yeah. Brian is blowing my mind over here, bagging on Rosario for Latruska and then complimenting him on Flagstaff.
It's all about position, right? It's all about racing style and position.
So I got a couple things in chat I want to highlight first. Mr. John Massey says, do you still like Whitmore with RSJ?
Yeah, RSJ scares the crap out of me. Well, I would prefer someone else other than RSJ. That True North, I think, is the only time RSJ has ever been on Whitmore, and that was probably one of the worst races he's ever run. I would prefer someone else up on him, but I don't think there's a ton of thinking that needs to be done in this race. He just has to find cover and pop him out in the lane. So I would prefer a different jock, but it's not a complete turnoff.
Any question as to why not Rosario? I mean, he's rode this horse a handful of times, and he's
or
here.
Not Talamo. That was the one that sort of scratched me because he's here as well, and he's been very successful in Whitmore.
Maybe Rosario had choice and he picked Flagstaff.
That sounds impossible.
I don't think so.
I'm guessing Joel's on Flagstaff because it's Sadler, and Joel's spent,
and it's Ronis racing.
Maybe the West Coast move, yeah.
Keep pounding saying Moquette said on Bick that Whitmore isn't cranked because several works for weather. So that probably means Whitmore is absolutely cranked and is going to win for fun.
I love when the trainer says the horse is not ready or doesn't look good, because that usually means quite the opposite.
Dude, you remember on it was during one of these big days on TVG, they interview Service, Jason Service.
Oh, I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What horse was it? It was like Restoring Hope. Was it Restoring Hope?
I think it was. It was either him or Instilled Regard. It was one of them. Yeah, Restoring Hope. You're right.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna stretch his legs out." And then he fucking like wins for fun. I'm like, this motherfucker over here. It looks like I don't know what the heck Vengi is talking about. He gave me like a paragraph, something about highly acclaimed Cincinnati Trophy winner.
Yeah, Whitford Nairobi is a turf horse that is one its last two at Turfway since moving on to the synthetic. I want no part of that horse and dirt.
John Massey saying Sadler finally won a race at Oaklawn today. Mr. Garth Butcher, Chase loves Whitmore.
This is quite true. Where the Astad is incoming.
He's not here, so I'll speak for him.
Yeah, I was confused because he said Moquette said I'm Bick. Who's Bick? I only listen to one podcast, and that's Josh and Chase.
And Caleb apparently now too.
Well, I don't like listening to him unless I can see him.
What about the Jerk? Don't you listen to the Jerk?
I don't listen to my own. That'd be weird. You ever listen to your own voice on voicemail? You always sound stupid.
Hey, you do sound stupid. I always like. All right, Stu does not like me bad mouthing Moquette. He says he's a good guy. You can't compare him to Service. Okay, fine.
Moquette was going off on somebody yesterday.
That being said, I like Flagstaff in this race. So let's move on. I'm just kidding. I tried really hard to make a case for Flagstaff. Honestly, the thing that really is getting me off of Flagstaff is the last time Joel rode this horse was last year's was the Count Fleet last year, and he just decided to take the horse back 10 lengths, like when the horse has always been like 1.5 off the whole time. I just don't think that he can outkick Whitmore. I think he's going to get the same kind of trip as Whitmore, and I just don't think he's going to be able to outkick. I would be more interested in a horse like the 3 Mr. Jägermeister or the 5 if the 5 wasn't clearly a rabbit for Whitmore. So I mean I'm in agreement with you guys. I think it's either the 6 or the 7 that wins this race. And I don't know. This might be a race where I got to go too deep and take both of them equally. I can't really put much between them. Whitmore is 8 now. Has won this race 4 times in a row, but is getting up there in age. So I'm a little concerned with that. But looks like we're loading in the gate here for Sam Houston. Before we get to the Rebel here.
So let's see. Jared's got an all, so he's hoping for a bomb. Josh, you got the 5 and 12.
Yep.
And Mark, you have 3, 5 something.
3, 5, 6.
5, 6. Brian, do you have anything?
What do you do, Mark? Did something happen?
What? Huh?
Did something happen? You look really disappointed already, and nothing.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I think it's because he kept cutting us off, and Caleb didn't let him cut him off that time.
I got scolded by Caleb.
Oh, I'm out of bourbon, guys.
So the 5 apparently is dropping out. Where the heck is the 5? Oh,
5 is going to need an Uber from here.
6 looks loaded.
If the 9 wins, I'll be pissed. Anybody else, and so be it.
10's done, maybe.
3 needs a hole.
Oh,
I don't know. Who's on the outside? The 11?
11 is going to hurt me.
Who the fuck's that?
12's trying. 5's coming. 5's coming.
There's 5.
Oh, shit. From the clouds, the 5 gets up.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There's a little pick 3 there. I'm back, guys. I'm back. That cold streak was done. R.I.P. 311, 311.
Hey, so let's put this out there for Jared. You know, he played all, so the 5 was guaranteed to win as soon as you punched an all ticket.
Yeah, you just locked in the chalk as soon as that happened. But at least you got a price last leg.
John Massey saying 5
got his Uber. Yeah, he did too. He looked dead going into the turn.
Yep.
Not much of a gallop out. He looks like a hobby horse.
Looks like he's like, that's as far as I want to run, guys. I'm done.
Yeah, I think where Brian was going is Jared. If you look at this kind of sequence, if you're going to single, you probably Dutch the second leg here a little bit, knowing that the 5 is going to be the favorite was pretty obvious on paper, and you bet a little more on your 5 than you do the rest of the field.
It's a great pick 3 for Josh, but no, good point, Mark and Brian.
No, I got it as well.
Mark hit it as well.
Oh yeah, well Josh shot twice though.
All I know is if I had a claim in the box for that 5 right now, I'm scared about my claim.
Dude, you know Mark's got it like 3 or 4 times. Come on. Mark, how many times you got it?
I don't know. A few.
A few. He's got it a few times. Yeah, he's got it a few times. But all right, Rebel. All right. So I actually have we got to talk about the Rebel. So first of all, Mark, let's talk about Rebel 2020.
Let's not talk about Rebel 2020 because I still get crap about leaving dents in somebody's couch.
Hey, you know who else want to talk about Rebel 2020? The Arkansas Racing Commission. I went there.
Mess. What a mess, dude. What a mess Rebel 2020 was. I actually had I have a friend who I work with, and he goes to Rebel every single year. Goes every single year. Him, his father-in-law, I think one of his buddies goes with him. But it's like a big group thing. They always go every single year. And luckily, he didn't go. He didn't go last year. But I know that's like a huge event for him. So it's nice to see. I did see on Twitter there were some people talking about going this year, so it's nice that we're going to kind of we're kind of recovering at this point. But this getting canceled last year was kind of like the beginning of the end for a lot of that stuff, or canceling in person at least. So it's just what a fucking weird year we had.
I kind of thought it was the other way. This getting canceled last year opened the door to Fonner Park, and Mark played Fonner Park.
No, I played. I was more on Willie Rogers. Willie Rogers, Lake Billy was my friend.
It's just kind of it's just looking back. I always look back to this Rebel weekend, and Mark being in the metal test tube on the way to Arkansas. Like the worst part about it was Arkansas or Oaklawn Park coming out and being like, we are absolutely having in-person fans, and then like hours later being like, actually we have to cancel. So.
Yeah, Chase literally texted me on the way to the airport to say that, oh yeah, hey, just so you know, the Oaklawn just came out and they said they're 100% having fans. We're good to go. And then I literally landed in Atlanta. I went Albany to Atlanta, and I pull out my phone and have a voicemail. I listen to it, and it's Chase leaving me a voicemail. It's like, dude, they just canceled all fans. If you can get a flight back to Albany, you might want to do it. And I was late enough getting into Atlanta that I couldn't, so I was stuck then flying to Little Rock, knowing I wouldn't be able to go to the races. And so I sat on Chase's couch and watched horse racing and watched his daughter play the little plastic flute thing. It was cool.
And you left a dent in the couch from
whatever. And I left a dent in the couch, which I will apparently never live down.
Yeah.
I think it's a divot, actually.
The divot?
The divot? Is that what it is? Took a chunk out?
Please replace your divots.
But I feel like we're starting, stuff is starting to kind of. I feel like there's a little bit of what's the word? Something. There's something on the horizon. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We'll go with that one because apparently my brain is just not functioning tonight. And I'm sure John Massey is going to be in here telling me all the different idioms we could have used. So Rebel, grade 2, mile and 16th. Got a bunch of points we're giving out here. What is this? Is this a 50-point race or 100-point?
It should be a
right?
50-pointer because the Arkansas Derby would be the 100.
Mm-hmm.
The Morning Line Maker sees this as a 2-horse race with morning favoritism going to the 1, Caddo River. Second choice is the 7, Concert Tour. And then you got a couple other horses here. You got Keep Me in Mind at 4-1, Super Stock at 6-1, Get Her Number at 8-1, and then you got Big Lake, Hosier, and Twilight Blue at double digits. So there's it seems like they're kind of looking at this as a 2-horse race. I'm leaning towards one of the 2 horses here. So we'll kind of see how I look at the other races and see if I slam this. But Brian, what are you thinking here? Who do you like in the Rebel 2021?
Well, let's
that's
be
going to
honest.
restore normalcy back to America.
Oh, if we're restoring normalcy, then it'll be Bob Baffert. Concert Tour. I'm scrolling down to the PPs right now. I was looking at Turfway. Sorry. What are you going to get at Concert Tour? 1 to 2. I don't know how you could bet this race. I have to imagine that the Bob Baffert loyalists will be singled here. So I think if you like anybody else other than Concert Tour, you could create value by playing against Concert Tour. Ultimately, you look at what Concert Tour's done with Joel aboard. Looked nice out west. To me, it's a little interesting that Concert Tour's here. I'm not sure what that means as far as Bob trying to stage his horses across the country. With what we saw in New York last weekend and in California last weekend, for Concert Tour to be in Arkansas, I'm like, okay, what's that mean about Concert Tour? Does that mean Bob's? This might be Bob's second choice. Is this Bob's improbable this year kind of thing? So I thought somebody was going to say something there.
Oh, I think I think Concert Tour is his number 2 horse or his 1A. I mean,
that's probably a safe guess, right?
Yeah.
It's hard not to like Caddo River and Brad Cox, especially with everything that's been going on. It's just, I don't know, man. I have a hard time going against Baffert on these dirt races. And the other horses, I think what the Morning Line Maker has it spot on. I think the race is a 2-horse race. I was trying to make an argument for number 5, Twilight Blue, and I can't. That was a long shot horse I kind of liked, just based on, me being an idiot. Brian Hernandez Jr. is aboard there, but I'm just babbling because I can't make an argument here. I don't know what to do here. You either play, one of the chalks, or I don't think I could play this race. Hopefully, Caleb or Mark has something smart to say because I'm just babbling.
I'm laughing. I saw Jay Davis posted, Bob has Concert Tour here because they can actually whip the horse if needed.
Yeah, I tend to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, I really like Concert Tour. I think that he's, he's got the breeding to be a classic distance horse. I think that, if there was no, and I'm already blanking, if there was no Life is Good, this would easily probably be a super short horse in the future pools. I'm actually a little interested. I posted what Circa had posted for the future pool. So I'll be in Vegas next week. Is it next week already? Yeah, I'll be in Vegas next weekend. So we'll see what Concert Tour is after this. But this might be the horse that I place a future wager on. I'm real interested in this horse. Caddo River, I know is the other short price horse here. If I'm going to take the 2 short price horses in the sprint race, I'm definitely not taking 2 short price horses in this race. So I think Caddo River is going to be the horse that I fade here. And it's just that, I mean, who has Caddo River beat? Yeah, Caddo River finished ahead of Greatest Honor twice. But, I mean, Tappets, everyone knows Tappets take a while to get going. So I'm not going to really fault Greatest Honor's, 2-year campaign losing the Caddo River twice here, or finishing behind Caddo River, didn't actually lose. I'm more interested in Concert Tour here of the short price horses. I'm interested to see what Keep Me in Mind does. I'm not going to use any real American dollars on Keep Me in Mind, but I'm interested to see how this horse runs after the long layoff. I was interested to see this horse run a couple times earlier this year and he scratched out. So, Caleb.
Yeah, this race is easy for me. You single Caddo River and you move on. I'm going to pull a Brian. I want to like Concert Tour because he really looks like a horse that's going to get, appreciate the turns and appreciate the stretch out. But he just hasn't done it easily enough for me to really want to back him in this spot. I mean, if you want to go down the who did he beat record, in his maiden score, the second place horse, Mr. Impossible, is still a maiden. Has came back and lost twice since that race. Both times, or one time as the heavy chalk, and then one time as the second or third pick. Freedom Fighter just shipped into New York and ran 4th, 5th in the Gotham. Didn't run a very good race, and that was the quote unquote other Baffert horse. He's never seen more than 4 other horses in a race. So yeah, he gets the good draw on the outside. He'll get to kind of watch and see what the horses to his inside do. But I think Caddo River is legit. He beat Greatest Honor twice, who is a lot of people's Derby horse already. He's going to make the lead. He's going to secure the rail. And, he should be bred to go a mile and a 16th without much problem. He's already got a mile twice by 9 lengths and 10 lengths. He beat Cowan by 10 lengths. Cowan maybe isn't a world beater, but he's a nice horse, and he beat him by 10 lengths. So, yeah, I think it's Caddo River. I'll let Concert Tour beat me. The other Baffert has no chance in here. Hosier, I'm not interested in him at all. The only horse I might give a second look to is the 4, Get Her Number. This horse did win the Grade 1 American Pharaoh in the his dirt debut. Castellano gets up, and that field wasn't full of world beaters, but Rombauer and Spielberg were both adequate horses. They both won a couple stakes races, and this horse. This is a tough spot to come back. That's my big thing. This is a long layoff for a guy who doesn't do great off layoffs. And this is a tough spot to make your 3-year-old debut. So I'm not going to probably use Get Her Number, but of all the other ones, that's the one I'm most interested in, I guess. Keep me in mind that Kentucky Jockey Club race has come back incredibly weak. I think out of the 11 horses or 11 starters that have raced out of that race, some multiple times, nobody's won yet. Smiley Sabatka, sucked in the Tampa races, and it's just been a terrible negative key race. So I'm not going to use Keep Me in Mind, who might take some more money as well. So yeah, to me, it's just Caddo River.
So are you telling me, we're going to do a little role playing here, Caleb, right? Right. So you're dressed up as a fisherman, right? Is Get Her Number dressed up like a fish? And is she just asking to reel me in?
It is a horse or a fish rather that would sometimes hook itself and jump in your boat. But
does that fish leave something behind?
Yeah, the fish might leave some
shorts,
bait behind,
clothing,
some shorts.
Mark, hey, real quick, Caleb, since you brought it up, I'd like to ask you. You're sitting there looking at. You said, Caddo River's beaten Greatest Honor twice. You're talking that's in September and October. Do you really put that much value on that with how much a horse changes from 2 to 3?
I don't put a ton of value on it, from that long ago. But what's more important is the fact the horse won by 20 lengths combined in his last 2 starts, including once over the local track here. I would certainly weight that heavier. But the fact that Greatest Honor has gone on to be a lot of people's Derby horse, I think the fact this horse was finished ahead of him twice in those efforts, it's worth noting. Even if it's not a huge angle that I would, drain the 401k on.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a ton of creativeness in here to say. I know Brian was looking for it, and the one thing I will say, I think it probably this race goes through Caddo River or Concert Tour. One of the two will make the most sense. The only thing I will say is there's a bunch of horses in here that are coming off long layoffs. Get Her Number, Keep Me in Mind, and Superstock. All three of them have every right to improve, going 2 to 3 off the long layoff. So there are ways, if you're playing maybe a pick 4 or pick 5, that you can structure so that you run most of your money through Caddo River and through Concert Tour, but you have a saver ticket, a C ticket, or whatever to those horses you're going to get those prices on, who have every right to improve, a chunk going into the, first start in a long time in the first start of their 3-year-old campaigns. And one thing I will say about Get Her Number, Peter Miller has already come out and said that this horse is not cranked for this start. He said that to a couple of different media outlets. So you can either use the Brian logic, which is that because he said horse is not cranked, the horse is absolutely loaded, or you can use the logic I would tend to be, which I tend to believe the trainer that the horse probably needs a start. This might not be the target. Now, if they are trying to get into the Derby, maybe the Arkansas Derby, if he's going to keep him in Arkansas, becomes the start, or maybe they ship him back west. But I think it's a race that I think the odds makers, the morning line makers, have it pretty right, and I think it's probably 90% of the time it goes through one of the two favorites.
So they're loading in here for the last race at Turfway here. Brian and I are pretty similar here. I went 8 over 5-6 overall for a try. Brian, you pared it down a little bit. It looks like I saw you in chat. 8 over 5-6 over 1 3 5 6 7 9. So, and then you did compliment my try.
Well, I thought it would look familiar.
Yeah.
When's the big Turfway race? The Jeff Ruby. That's got to be coming up, right?
The stakes.
The stakes.
Yeah, the stakes. Yeah. It's just the stakes.
It's a 100-point race.
There's only one stake now.
Have any of you guys eaten at Jeff Ruby's?
No.
I hear it's great. I mean, like
I hear
everyone.
it's delicious, but it's fucking expensive.
Can you order steaks there?
I hope so. Wow, this 8 floated up to 7 to 5. Well, that's interesting. I thought this 8 was going to be way shorter. I don't see my 5 or 6 anywhere. Our 5 or 6 anywhere.
Looks like the
Turfway has like 30 lengths separating first from last. At every race, no matter the distance or the pace, there is always like a 30-length spread between the horses, and it cracks me up.
I don't see the. Oh, there's the 5.
Oh, there's your 5. And
there's the 1 though. 6 is done. This 8 might be lucky to hold on here.
I don't know. I think the 8 looks like is he opening up? I can't tell. This like low angle.
I think the 1's coming in the center.
1's
of the
got
track.
a ton of steam, but he might run out of racetrack.
Oh, he's got all kinds of room. Look at that.
Oh yeah, 1's gonna blow right by.
Oh wow.
Speed is tough at Turfway.
Gonna pass up the 8. No, 6 got nipped. 8 held on for a second.
Tough to run speed at Turfway.
About
25 to 1 to close it out.
Keep pounding you. I was gonna say keep pounding you. Always trust somebody with a soul patch. Always.
So it looks like March 27th is the stakes. I believe that's also Florida Derby Day. But I think they run it at night. So
I think that's late afternoon. Yeah.
We should do a stream for that.
The Florida Derby Day is the 28th, so that looks like it's gonna be Friday night.
Oh, is it Friday night? Oh, we should.
Oh.
Yeah, we should.
We ought to get Papo on.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out. Hold on.
Oh, it's Saturday.
I know Papo hates stakes races.
Google lied to me. I'm sorry. Google showed me 2020s.
Yeah, 27th.
27th is yeah.
I saw founding. He said, so we believe Peter Miller, but not All-American guy Ron Mocat.
Yeah, that's a bad take. Fuck Peter Miller.
But he's got a soul patch.
No, he has. I mean, John Massey or whoever that was. Fucking KP has a good take. You can't believe Peter Miller. Hey, I know it's on CZ Rocket, right?
Can you really believe it? Can you really believe any of them?
I think Disco Partner had mentioned earlier that once it starts warming up, the inside gets hot. I didn't look at the one strip, but that's something to watch out for Turfway going forward. See how the inside is.
And
They
they
full head of steam.
Yeah, they ran the half in 46. I mean, kind of a dumb ride, but whatever.
Yeah, I didn't. So I figured we'd talk about this last race. We got about 10 minutes here. I didn't really look at this last race much, but this is going to be kind of where I think I'm going to have to come up with a decent opinion so I can slam this pick 4. Mark, did you look at this at all?
Yeah, I did. I thought this race was just really, really wide open. Ton of horses that made a lot of sense in here, and I'm not quite sure how I end up, playing it. I'll probably break it into some form of A and B, just because I had 4 horses that I liked in here: the 7 Solomonic, the 8 Oro de Tejano. Then I also like the 12 Rob the Rich, who is potentially lone speed in here, and also the 13 if he draws in General Trev. Should the 13 draw in, that horse may become sort of a lone A type, because that last race kind of towers over this field. I would assume Santana landed on the 14 if that horse draws in. So I thought that horse made a ton of sense. That was the one that sort of jumped off the page at me, but see if he draws in or not. So, there was 4 I liked in here, and that was 7, 8, 12, and 13. All, there's no real short-priced favorite in this race. Seems a really wide open affair, and it's going to be a hard one to really narrow down, Josh.
Can I ask you, do you only like the 12 because it's your favorite trainer, Mr. Randy Matthews?
Randy Matthews? When did Randy Matthews become my favorite trainer?
That's mine and Chase' favorite trainer.
Oh, you and Jay. Sorry, I know.
Yeah.
I know you guys were. There's a lot of Randy Matthews chatter last year.
Yeah, he prefers if you use his full name, Randy fucking Matthews. So that's he's a big deal.
Either of you guys look at this last race at all?
I did. I mean, of course, I'm going to use Randy fucking Matthews' horse because you just got to respect it. I imagine he has a mullet and probably like a Confederate flag on the back windshield of his truck. So in addition to the 12, though, I'm using the 1 and the 5. I didn't really know where to go in this race. There's a lot of horses that just broke their maiden who I don't really want to bet back. Or there's horses who are in the, 1 for 15 kind of ballpark or 3 for 30 kind of ballpark or whatever. So I ended up on the 1 and the 5. I mean, the 1 horse, ran a really nice race last time after breaking kind of slow. Gets stretched out to a mile here, which is really where this horse has done most of his best work. So I'm going to definitely use the 1, as I think the stretch out makes a ton of sense, and the horse has some figs that fit here. And then the 5 was the other one. You get some pretty hot connections. The horse has a little bit of dirty form. If you look at the numbers over a fast track, though, the record's pretty strong, 6 starts and 2 wins. Horse just looked like to get a little bit short last time when making his first start in about 2.5 months, going a mile and a 16th. He cuts back to a flat mile here and gets second start off the layoff. So I think he'll be more fit, and he does have some tactical speed in a race where there really isn't a ton of speed if the AEs don't draw in. It kind of seems like the 12 might be the only potential leader here then besides the 5. So I'm using the 1, 5 and the 12, and then I'll, potentially use some of the AEs if they do draw in. But as it stands right now, I'm 1, 5, and 12.
So I do see another one of your favorite trainers here, Caleb. The 4-horse Optimus Cat, trained by none other than Mr. D. Wayne Lucas.
How does he have 4 wins already? That doubles his win total from last year.
E7 horse drawn the 4 posts. Won last time out. Looks like the big W. Does that mean the claim was waived? No, it's avoided. So I guess he had a waiver.
It's a waiver claiming, so he wasn't in for a tag.
Gotcha. So
Dwayne Lucas only wins when it hurts Caleb, though. So we need to know if Caleb uses this horse or not.
Yeah, this horse will beat me if I don't use it, and run up the track if I do. I'm looking at you, American Butterfly.
Every time that horse runs, I think of that story.
Brian, did you have any opinions on this race?
I like the 5 and the 8, but to be a little bit different, I'm going to see where this field ends up. I kind of like the 10 off the meds. at what will probably be a nice price again, because that's kind of been my MO today. One on the track in February before the blizzard came rolling through. Granted, the horse only won 3 times in his lifetime, but he's 1-for-1 at Oaklawn Park. And I do like Ingrid Mason horses. Chicagoland people should recognize that name a little bit. So, the horse has been improving since the claim back in October. So, maybe if the situation's right and the value's there, it could be worth the look.
Dude, I spent like 5 minutes, like 30 seconds trying to figure out what meds he was coming off of. And
yeah, I was
the
too.
horse's name.
I was like, damn, you like this horse coming off Lasix, huh? And then no, the horse is actually named off the meds.
Well, you look at this horse, and the horse was racing at Canterbury in Hawthorne. It's a $300,000 horse, and the pedigree's there. It's just the horse hasn't taken anything, obviously with 14 starts and 3 wins. But yeah, like I said, it has been improving since Ingrid's had him. So I'll give it a shot.
Well, the reason the horse isn't winning is because they need to be freaking sprinting this horse. I don't know why they're trying to run this horse at route distances, but
they're slowly coming back now. I mean,
I did like your 10, Brian. That's probably one of the one I had him marked as kind of a question mark, but
yeah,
on a deeper ticket, I like it.
The 12 is the second prime power horse in this race. If you like that,
yeah, that
really
morning line has to be terrible because that horse just on paper screams loose speed. And I think you're going to get maybe half of that. I mean, if multiples of us are on that horse, I just don't think you get that kind of price.
I just eyeballed this race, and I mean, the horses that kind of jumped out to me were the 10, the 11, and the 12. So, and they are all at pretty decent price. 11's a little bit short at 5-1, but those were kind of the horses that popped out to me. But like, I mean, even the 9, it seemed like most of the horses I kind of like are posted outside. 7 does make a little bit of sense. Ran a little bit worse last out. I just don't know. Maybe it was just slop. Didn't like the off going, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Truculence is a good name to say, so probably gonna add that horse too.
He's gonna butcher that name.
There's a good value in this race. You remember last year we covered the Oaklawn Mile, and you don't run a ton of mile races, but it's a very short run into the first turn. So if you think the better horses are posted outside, I mean, there's a good chance they get strung, 5 or 6 wide into that turn, which could give you a price horse inside if you like any.
Was the Oaklawn Mile the one that Improbable scratched out of or didn't scratch out
of? It's the one that Tom's d'Etat won over by my standards. I don't remember if Improbable scratched or not.
But I remember.
No, he didn't scratch. He ran a huge race there. That's the race he ran like a -4 on Thoroughgraphs because he was like 6 wide the whole time with Drayden up. He scratched out of the next race at Oaklawn, whichever it was. Yeah. Like the Razorback or some shit.
The Tacitus versus Improbable bet that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid scratch.
I'm sure John Massey will correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure John Massey
he's on top of it.
On the wrong lead historian. I'll have to make him a shirt.
On the wrong lead maester.
But that's gonna do it for Oaklawn. I don't know what I know we like to talk about what kind of else we're looking at this weekend. Brian, what are you focusing on this weekend?
The 7th race at Chucktown right now.
Okay. Right.
I think the 3 is a overlay at 5-2 because it's Chucktown. I haven't looked at anything for the weekend. I'll be quite honest. I've had a dumb week, so I'm way behind at catching and looking at the weekend's races.
I hear you, man. Caleb?
I'm going to look mostly at Oaklawn, I think. Oaklawn's been kind of tough lately. Like, it makes a ton of sense, and then you get like a 40-1 horse that just looks impossible. So I'm hoping we can get away from some of that. But I'm excited for Oaklawn's card this weekend. So I'll be looking at mostly Oaklawn, and then I am in that express bet beat the host like free contest thing Saturday. So I'll look at Gulfstream and Santa Anita since there's the contest races as well for Saturday anyway. But I think Oaklawn's probably the card if you're looking to play one track.
I did look at Santa Anita briefly, and I saw the races, that were carded. I didn't look at the fields, and it looked kind of interesting. I did see a friend of the site, Murphy, did ask if we think that Swiss Skydiver is a sure thing in the Beholder Mile.
Yeah, so I did look at that race already since, well, I just like Santa Anita. Yeah, I don't think she is, but she's the likeliest winner to be sure. But I don't think she's like a sure thing just because she's only faced older horses once in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and she ran pretty bad in that race. I mean, she definitely had an excuse when she stumbled at the break, but nevertheless, even if you draw a line through that, she's never raced older horses then. So there is a class test here. She's also coming in off only, I think, 4 or 5 published works off of a 4 or 5 month layoff. So I'm a little bit curious as to how fit she's going to be. Plus, the distance, I think, is a bit of a question. I truly think she's better going a mile and a 16th to a mile and an 1/8. There's no world beaters in here. She might be able to beat this field with her B game, so to speak. But I do think that while she's the likeliest winner, that she's definitely not unbeatable. And anytime you get a horse like that, Breeders' Cup Preakness winner, filly against the boys, like they take so much money that it does create overlays other places. So I would maybe consider the Harvest Moon horse as a different contender, or even the Baffert, not Gold Principle, but the other Baffert.
Oh, as time goes by, which is Keep Pounding's pick here. Mark, did you look at this race at all?
I have not capped it yet. I would really need to sit down and dig into it. But I know that this was Sky Diver long layoff and not really having any reported works. That definitely scares me a little bit. So it might be something, if I can beat a chalky favorite, which she's going to be, might be sort of interesting.
That 6 that he says, I know you say class doesn't matter, but wow, does this horse seem to be severely outclassed with the way this horse has been coming along?
Yeah, that fig. I mean, on Briz, that fig last out is just like gaudy, but I don't really trust the Briz figs that much. So, did beat another horse in this field, but the horse he beat was 30-1 in this field. So I don't know. But I also think that betting against Baffert in these California stakes races is very difficult. Especially when he is not the favorite, because who was the horse? Merneath, right? Merneath a couple weeks ago, went off at like 5-1 or 4-1 or some nonsense price and just fucking ran off the screen. So
hard to ship into California and beat Bobby in his own backyard.
Murphy says that she's a half to will take charge / take charge Indy. I'm guessing that's as time goes by.
They're not showing the DPI, but I'm sure we could look it up.
Oh, I picked the wrong horse. Go figure. I do not have Chase's Charlestown abilities.
No, Chase has got like this like 6 cents for Charlestown, but yeah, I mean this is like. I'll be honest, like I have not looking at this race. I'll tell you that Swiss Skydiver in this spot is the kind of horse that I would exactly want to bet against. Short price. This horse is going to be short price. Is shipping in to a track that, I mean, yeah, she's run over once, but shipping in from Gulfstream is where she was working out last, and going right in Bobby's backyard. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it at 8-5. I would probably take a shot with both of Bob Baffert's horses over Swiss Skydiver, but it all depends on price too. But I did look at this card kind of briefly. It looked like they had a couple of stakes. They have the San Simeon also running, which is a grade 3 turf sprint. So it should be an interesting card. And I think, Mark, I hadn't asked you yet. What are you looking at this weekend?
Hey, real quick, I'm going to jump off, guys. Everybody have a good weekend. I got to go deal with the kids. So good luck, Mark.
Right,
Take care, Brian.
I just want to cut Mark off once.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, don't really have a clue what I'm doing this weekend. I haven't really looked at a lot of things, so I need to do a little bit of handicapping and figure out what makes the most sense. I don't know if the tournament scene is going to be any good, if there's anything good going on this weekend. Oaklawn card looks nice, so we'll go from there.
I'll probably be brushing up on my my rook and my my ace play. No, honestly I don't know.
Maybe some Dakabi.
Oh, some Dakabi. Yeah, dude, I forgot about Dakabi. Yeah, I don't really know. I think I might just stick with Gulfstream. I don't know. I've seemed to have figured something out there, and have been doing pretty well up until past couple days. I've had a little bit of a cold spell, but I mean, you can't fucking be a winner every day. So I'll probably take a look at Gulfstream mostly, play that a little bit, and Golden Hour. I pretty much play that every weekend. It's a really good bet, but yeah, I'll probably take a peek at Oaklawn. I thought the late pick 4 was pretty slammable. I got to figure out that last race, but that's probably my main play for the day. Just slam that pick 4. John Massey says, "Fuck Gulfstream and their derf." And 75 rail positions.
Dude, I feel you, John Massey. That shit drives me bonkers.
Murph says that the grade 3 sprint at Santa Anita is pretty competitive. Oh, you got some horses here. You got Sombaye, you got Jolie Olympica, Sistron, Bob and Jackie, Gregorian Chant. This looks like a little bit of a salty race here for Saturday. So that should be an interesting one. Jolie Olympica has had a kind of a rough go of it since.
Talk about rough go. How about Bob and Jackie as of late? That horse was very well touted a year ago and sort of fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, but I think I haven't had a chance to look at much of the rest of SA, so I think that's going to do it for us. Shout out to Chase. Make sure if you get a chance, you check out his live stream tomorrow. We'll be back on next Thursday, and we'll. I don't know what's really going on next week. I think next week might be another one of those. No, next week is Fairgrounds, right?
Is it Louisiana Derby?
It's Louisiana Derby. So,
Caleb, fans in, maybe I'll give you a live from Fairgrounds.
Have you been there for Louisiana Derby before?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. All right. Well, check out Chase tomorrow if you get a chance. Murphy,
shout out, keep pounding.
Shout out to Keep Pounding. Murphy always wants to remind us the stakes races at Laurel. There's 5 stakes races at Laurel on Saturday.
Didn't they cancel?
They canceled on Friday.
They canceled on Friday and killed the gold.
The Strong carries till next week, or did they card new races?
Yeah, it's gonna carry till next week.
Oh, that's so lame. They cancel on like fucking Monday and they can't find new races.
Yeah. Louisiana Derby. Oh, John Massey, Louisiana Derby on 20, Florida Derby and stakes on the 27th. So we got 2 fun weeks. Louisiana Derby Day is always fun. There's always some really, really good turf races that day. So that should be fun. And Murphy says yes, the herpes is spreading. Yeah, poor Laurel. Laurel can't catch a break. But yeah, check out Chase tomorrow. We'll be around Discord, Twitter. Buy a t-shirt, sign up for AM Wager. You know the drill. Shout out to Keep Pounding. Shout out to Mr. Whiskey for sending me the John J. Bowman.
Did you shout out Ratchet Rachel yet?
We did not shout out Ratchet Rachel. Ratchet Rachel and I are not on speaking terms right now.
Ooh.
But yeah, we will catch you guys later.